This is Group 3 interviewing Professor Jen Graham, who was a journalist last Tuesday covering the elections. And Jen, we were wondering if you were a freelance journalist or if you were working for a specific organization.
Actually, I kind of did both this election. I work for WRTI on a part-time basis, which is right here in Temple, and I work in their news department, and I have for the last 5 years. So I work for them, and I also did a lot of freelance work for the Associated Press as well as National Public Radio.
Now, did you cover a specific issue during the election or did you go after a individual candidate?
Actually, I covered Governor Ed Rendell's campaign throughout, the whole race, because I also covered him 4 years ago when he first ran for governor. So I was actually at his campaign all night.
Now, what was that like when he found out that he was the victor and Lynn Swan conceded?
Well, it was the first election I've ever experienced where the Associated Press usually calls the races, they do the numbers, and it was the first time that the race was called, the polls closed at 8 o'clock. They called it for Rendell at 8:01. So it was interesting to kind of cover it from that aspect because you're waiting to see what's going to happen, but he still didn't make Rendell didn't make his victory speech until a little after 11, and it's my understanding that to this day, Swan still hasn't called and conceded or congratulated him or anything.
Now, were you able to individually interview Rendell after he knew that he was victorious, or was it more of a press conference format afterwards?
He made a speech which he does on the podium, and he has kind of like the city's big players with him and some other, important figures in the Democratic Party. And then afterwards, I like to call it reporter gangbang, where everyone just kind of runs up to him at once and tries to ask him questions, either because they're tired, they want to get out of there. Like with the reporter from KYW, I think he was working not only for the news radio station here, but for the one in Pittsburgh, and he was there for hours, just having to pretty much you're making things up if you have to go live after certain points because nothing's happening. You're just waiting for polls to close. So it's just more or less people just attack when they can, and it's a lot of TV that tries to get them individually, but I do not.
Well, thank you very much, Jen. We appreciate you giving us your time.
You're very welcome.